Hello friends. Previously we had learned a lot about motion. In motion chapter we had learned the physical terms like distance, velocity, speed and etc. Also graphs. We had also learned about the derivations of equations of motion. Now we are going to start a new chapter, that is force and laws of motion. In this video In this video, I'll give you a detailed explanation on concept force. So watch the complete video and don't forget to subscribe. The term force means push or pull that causes an object to move, stop or change direction. Force is an external effort that can change an object's state of motion or rest. Also, it can change its shape. Let's take an example. The image is a tug of war. Two teams against each other in a test of strength. Teams push on opposite end of a rope with the goal being to bring the rope a certain distance in one direction. So the teams are playing, they are pulling and pushing the rope. Two teams are playing, they are pulling and pushing the rope. The goal is to bring the rope in one direction. So here you can see force is a push and pull which causes an rope to change the direction. But this does not explain the concept of force entirely. Just human pushing and pulling is not the kind of force. So, when force is applied, the stationary object will move. Stationary means not capable of being moved. Let's take an example. The ball is lying at rest on the ground. It's stationary, not moving at all. So, the ball is lying on the ground. It's not moving. Is there any force acting on it? If you think no force is acting, then you're wrong. There are forces acting. Yes, forces are acting. There is a gravitational force. There is a gravitational force which is trying to pull the ball towards the center of earth. And the ground is applying an equal force exactly in the opposite direction. This force is called normal force. Because these two forces are balanced, they do not change the position. The net force acting on this ball is zero. Forces acting on an object does not imply that the object is in motion. Object to move, there has to be some net force. Now let's say here is the box on the ground. A box lying at rest on the ground. There is a gravitational force which is trying to pull the box toward the center of earth, and the ground is applying an equal force exactly in the opposite direction. This force is called normal force. Now suppose we push the box in this direction lightly. There will be one more force, that is the force of our push. Since we have pushed it lightly, this heavy box will not move at all. And this is because of another force which comes in the opposite direction of our push, and this force is called force of friction. Now let's assume the straight horizontal line is a frictionless floor and there is no air resistance. The ball appears from the left and moving towards the right at a uniform velocity of 2 meters per second. We know uniform velocity means object moves in a specified direction in a straight line. So the ball moving in the right direction at a uniform velocity of 2 meter per second. The only two forces acting on the ball are gravitational force and normal force, which net each other out and the ball keeps on moving unless there is another external force which acts on it. Here, as the forces are balanced, the ball continue to move at 2 meter per second. An object will continue at uniform velocity even if net force is 0. So, the two things we have learned are: first is, if the object is stationary, the net force acting on it is 0. Then it will continue to remain at rest. Second, if the object is moving at uniform velocity and the net force acting on it 0, then it will continue to move at that same uniform velocity. I hope this concept was understandable to you. Also, in upcoming video I'm going to explain you types of forces. I'll give you a detailed explanation on the topic types of forces.